Hi everyone, warm greetings to our His Team's audience. We hope you are very well. We welcome you to this debate and presentation of topics where our students of National Open Distance University UNAD in Bachelor's Foreign Language with emphasis on English of Group 187 under the guidance of tutor Yara Jimena Herrera Londoño. In this debate and presentation of ideas, as first point, as point number one, individual problems. Each of you will share our individually identified problem, which was announced in the previous phase. Classmates, remember, the order of presentation is the next. First, companion Brian Andres Mora Payanene. Second, colleague AD Sharik Rojas Sanchez. Third, the one speaking right now, Jairan Hernandez Cabrera. And finally, the classmate Natalie Martinez Herrera. At point number two, group problem. Next, we will present the chosen group problem. As third point, point number three is response to questions. Then we will provide answers to the question outlined in the activity guide. Fourth and last point, conclusions. Finally, each of you will give a conclusion regarding the topic presented. Without further ado, we will now proceed with the individual problems. Let's begin with the classmate, Brian.
Hi, hi. Eh,
Hi.
Pueden ver, ¿cierto? La pantalla. Vale. Cordial greeting. My name is Brian. The problem identified in the class, the class R was this is my future in context. The problem is the student did not remember the basic topic of the present continuous. I think it's a problem because teacher in his school explained the topic present continuous. It is also a topic that they constantly explain because it's very important. Mm, because with the present continuous, we can describe the action we are carrying out. For example, we are discussing as a group the problem identified by each person. Very good. Next.
Ok, thank you, compañero Brian. Mm, ¿Observan la pantalla?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Ok. ¿Me observo en esos momentos en cámara? Ah, no. Ok. Hello. Good evening. I'm Chari Sanchez Rojas and continue with this presentation of the problems identified in the previous phase of the course. I from the analysis of the three classes of the inbuilt communities a problem, and it's the lack of innovative strategies to promote activity participation in virtual learning environments. I can be determined that the problems is not limited to this recording, but is a recording pattern in online languages teaching, especially in the class the country of Brazil, where it was outside the limited use of educational resources, as in this was relying mainly on a digital presentation, restrict the participation of students to specific moments, and during this militarized dynamic online activity that assess the knowledges of the participants. On the other hand, it was observed that many participants listened passively, which reduced opportunities for meaningful international and languages practice. The lack of innovative strategies leads to descriptive motivations, limited group dynamic, and a lack of activity, all of which hinder languages educational and personal developments. Learns to practice and improve their skills. Is for this reason that addressing this knowledge is necessary to foster communication, teamwork, and overall languages proficiency. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ailey. I continue with my problematics. Okay, my problematics and education situation, the lack of differentiated and adaptive methods. In many classrooms dedicated to language teaching, the pedagogical methods implemented tend to be homogeneous, meaning they are designed under the assumption that all students learn in the same way and at the same pace. However, this approach ignores individual difference in students' abilities and learning styles, particularly for those facing learning difficulties or without considering different cultures or groups. Among these students are those with dyslexia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, uh, hearing or cognitive difficulties, among other conditions. These students, lacking adequate support in the design of materials and activities, experience significant barriers to learning. As a result, their progress in developing language skills is limited, and they often feel excluded or unable to keep up with their peers. Therefore, as future educators, we must consider our experience and what we live through now to avoid replicating these issues in the future and to adopt the best methodologies and teaching profit by UNAD. Thank you. Continuing, colleague Natalie.
Okay, thank you. So about sorry, my name is Natalie. So about the problematics and educational situation. Well, in the class by Professor Angie Marcela Marin on the topic of modification tips, there were problems with assessing the development of online activities. There wasn't much participation by the students, and the context in which they were located was unknown. So about the second meeting, which was by the professor Eduard Saavedra on the topic of English skills, only 2 or 3 students out of the 15 present participate and respond assertively and actively in allowing the identification of the difficulties that come with teaching virtually. Finally, about the third meeting, guided by the Professor Tatiana Arcelia Gudelo on the topic of how are superstition beliefs created, I was able to see almost the same situation as in the first meeting by the tutor Angie Marcela, where she had problems with the connection of some students. So, in conclusion and in general about the problem, the most characterized the meetings was that the students did actively participate in classes, affecting the normal and correct development of the classes.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. Um, Following our individual presentations, we now proceed with the second point, the choosing group problem, which is lack of innovative strategies to promote active participation in a virtual learning environment. Moving on to the question A, what innovative English learning activities do you propose to address the identified education challenge? This question will be addressed by Heidi and Natalie. Go to ahead, colleagues.
Okay.
Sorry,
Mm,
can Jairo,
Give me
can
some word.
you
A
share
moment,
the
please.
screen?
Continue? Yes, ¿cierto?
No, wait.
Okay. So from my perspective, my perspective, and given that the problem is about the lack of innovative strategies to promote activity participation in virtual learning environments, likewise focusing on the class, the country of Brazil, I will implement the following activity to reinforce students' knowledge and participations. Collaborative activities, sorry, brainstorming on palettes in this exercise students collaborative on a palette whiteboard to create a ring of adjective related related to culture of Brazil. The activity is organized into thematic columns so that the students can in short sentences which identify under different categories such as colors, sizes, emotions, languages, and culture. As participants at adjective, they when comments on their closements, contributions, or suggest segments to enrich the vocabulary on the board, instructing collaborative work, even for those who have difficulty with logging into the palette can discuss their ideas by chatting on Tolkien. I believe this exercise created an organized visual reference of the topic and helps the students to categorize the new vocabulary. That will be all from my side.
Okay. Um, in my opinion, well, maybe another innovative activity that can be implemented for student participation. It can be maybe playing word guessing game or ahorcado in Spanish. So their students, sorry, can actively participate and exchange knowledge and also learn the alphabet, new words and their meanings and its correct pronunciation.
Okay, I continue with my point. Perfect. And now let's continue with question B, which I will address. Is the question is what specific resource, including digital tools and material, do you propose to utilize to support the implementation of your proposed activities? First of all, some of the important tools we consider for making our lesson more interactive and dynamic are Canva, Prezi, and Genially. As university students, we really rely on these tools because they provide engaging templates and enable us to create less monotonous explanation of topics. On other hand, activities recommended, number one, gamified activities, Kahoot, and quizzes. These platforms allows use to create live quizzes, competitions, and challenges that reinforce vocabulary and grammar. Students can compete in real time and see instant results, which boost engagement and motivation. Another gamified activities is Classcraft, and this tool integrates game-like elements such as missions and rewards. Activities can be customized to offer virtual rewards, motivating student participation. Suggested activity with the gamified activities is organize teams missions where each group completes a series of English language challenge related to class topics, earning points on virtual regards along the way. Number two, incorporating augmented reality and virtual reality, AR/VR. Um, AR and VR tools can make learning English more immersive by simulating real-life experience. Recommended tools include Google's predictions, augment to AR flashcards. Suggested activity, create virtual field trips in English where students explore English speaking cities, describe points of interest, and share their impression with the class. And number three, and finally, using simulations and role playing in virtual environments. And simulation and role play activities immerse students in practical everyday situations, improving conversational skills. And almost recommended tools include Minecraft Education Edition and Second Life. These platforms allow students to create 3D simulation where they can practice English in real-world scenarios or themed environments. Role-play chat rooms on Discord or cater tone. Suggested activity with these tools is host English role-playing days where students take on different characters and role play specific situation in a virtual environment, providing and relaxed and creative settings for practicing conversational structures. Continuing with the point, the question say, colleague Brian.
Hi. Question C. What methodology do you propose to assess the impact of your proposed activities of languages learning outcome? And my answer to question C, uh, I believe that using a combination of answer assessment methods allow for a more complete view of student learning. For this reason, I propose that the methods that we can use to evaluate the impact of activity are adjective tests, subjective tests, teaching observation, mm, diary, the diary analysis, feedback, equity, and justice. Adjective tests that are some with multiple choice question, true, false, pairing, etc. They allow the knowledge acquired to be evaluated keenly and efficiently. Subjective tests. These are exams with open question, essays, problems to resolve, projects, etc. Teaching observation. Systematic observation of the teacher during class to evaluate his or the her methodology in interaction with student, time management, etc. Mm, Date analysis. We can analyze attendance, class participation, test score, uh, to get an overview of class performance. Feedback. Feedback is essential for learning. The assignment should provide useful information about the student progress and are in the which they need improvement and most importantly the feedback should, should be timely and constructive. Fairness and justice or equity and justice. Assignment must be fair and impartial, taking into account the individual needs of a student. If we to know the satisfaction and effectiveness of teaching, we can use student surveys, we can questionnaire to collect student opinions about the class, the teacher, the material, etc. Analysis of teacher material. Evaluate the quality, relevance, and at the matrix of the material used in the class. I consider that these methods are sufficient to efficiently evaluate the result and development of the class. It's my conclusion or uh, net.
Okay, colleague. The conclusions and conclusion. Uh, Continuing with point 4, each of you will now present a concluding statement following the same order as in the problem presentations, starting with Brian. Your conclusion, Brian.
Okay. According to the problem addressed and explained of my project, I think we must remember that currently there are many ways of directing a class. We as future teacher must learn the ideal way according to each one to implement in the future. I don't criticize it. The tutor in charge of the bill because she explained to her class how they had prepared it and now so believe it was the best way. Uh, okay, next.
Okay, colleague. Continue. AD or continue I. I continue. Okay. My conclusion. I believe that in conclusion, these functional activities is essential for the present for this activity in this phase. Continuing, colleague Natalie.
Okay. So a personal conclusion while implementing the right tools to make students feel more familiar with the topics and feel motivated to participate in classes allows them to acquire better and more in-depth knowledge about the topics to be discussed. When this happens, students can participate more and turn on their cameras and interact with the teacher.
Okay, thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Natalie.
So finish.
Okay, I finished this recording. I finished this meeting in this debate and presentation of ideas. We are group 187. Goodbye. Goodbye, classmates.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Listo.